and even in the semi-final, I don't think it was until after the game we actually realised, like, Jesus, we're in the final here. It kind of crept up on us. It was genuinely, that's how I felt, and that's my memories of it. There was some great games along the way, and as you say, you probably think, right, you're going to Bremen, this is going to be difficult, this might be the end, or you're going to Florence and you're thinking, this is going to be really difficult, there's some good players, in Lisbon, and various other games along the journey. So I think it was very, very late, as you say, maybe when that's just stepping up to take the penalty, you're going, you know what, we've got a wee chance here.
This is Ibrox.
So we go into 2008, and I think you touched on it as well. There were some players in the squads when you've come in before that obviously needed turned over, like shall we say, and the culture and the belief of the squad probably needed raised up. People like yourself in there helping with that type of thing. You go to, you start with the Champions League run obviously beforehand, and I'm just wondering, what's the standout game for you in the group stages of that? And I'm thinking of one in particular, but I'm keen to, from your side in the dressing room, when did things start to become really real in that Champions League run before getting into the Europa League one?
It never became real, to be honest. It was such a weird experience. The games obviously stood alone on their own 2 feet. The draw was crazy in terms of the teams we got, in terms of the quality of the teams we were playing against, and it genuinely probably couldn't have been any tougher. But we were also a good team, and Walter's top manager, so he knows how to set up our team to give us the best chance. So we weren't given much hope, and we started really, really well. And it's hard to pick a game. You beat Lyon 3-0 in Lyon. That's an incredible result. You draw with Barcelona at Ibrox, although probably never got out of our own half. And Stuttgart, 2 amazing games, and then you lose the last game to Lyon, and Benzema just is on a different planet. So there's so many memories. It's hard to say, this game, because they're all fantastic experiences. And at the time you just try and do your best. But when you get to my age, you start looking back, and we actually had the jerseys out with my kids that know that long ago, and you see the jerseys you've swapped, and you remember the games and things like that, and you go, wow, that was special. So they were all great memories, and no one stands out any more than others. Playing in the new camp was crazy. Playing against Messi and Ronaldinho and Thierry Henry and people like that, and getting your family able to go and watch the game, and the Rangers fans get to go to games like that as well. That's special, obviously, but that whole season was special in terms of, even going to Bremen and Lisbon and Fiorentina and places like that, and then Manchester as well as all the Rangers Celtic games and all the other tough games you have. So it just was every game was an adventure, and it was just a cumulative thing that, what a season, what a roller coaster ride, and very, very close we were to being the best Rangers team ever in terms of potentially winning a treble and a European trophy, just falling short, and at the end, unfortunately, not getting much help for our institutions probably, but that's another story. So
yeah, I might pick up a question on that one before this interview is over. So I suppose I'm just interested, and it's a night or it's a day that will live long in the memory for someone my age. I was very lucky enough to be in the stadium in Manchester that day. Although it wasn't the result we wanted, I got to see Rangers in a European final. It lived me for the rest of my life. But I'm just really keen to understand. You go to places like Bremen, you go to Lisbon and stuff like that, and it seemed to be underdog, and then at some point there's, oh my God, if Nacho sticks this penalty away against Fiorentina, that's us. Vieri's not been able to do his job. We're going to a UEFA Cup Final, and there must have been a moment within the dressing room where it all got real for everybody, that you've got your chance to do this. And for some players, and I appreciate you played in Scotland jersey World Cups, you've played in the Premiership, but even for you, that must have been, this is arguably the biggest moment that anybody will face.
You know what? It wasn't like that. I genuinely think, because we were so wrapped up in the league, and obviously there's cup competitions and the European thing, I'm not saying it wasn't important, but it wasn't the real focus. It was almost like a bonus. And even initially when we went to Greece, we were thinking this wouldn't be the end of the world if we got knocked out here, because we want to win the league. That's kind of how we were. And we just kept progressing through, and as you said, we were never favourites, and the games were always difficult. But we just managed to sneak through. And even in the semi-final, I don't think it was until after the game we actually realised, like, Jesus, we're in the final here. You know, it kind of crept up on us. It was genuinely, that's how I felt, and that's my memories of it. You know, there was some great games along the way, and as you say, you probably think, right, you're going to Bremen, this is going to be difficult, this might be the end, or you're going to Florence and you're thinking, this is going to be really difficult, there's some good players in Lisbon, and, you know, various other games along the journey. So I think it was very, very late, as you say, maybe when that's just stepping up to take the penalty, you're going, you know what, we've got a wee chance here. That's kind of how it was, you know, and that's no underselling it. That's just genuinely how that group was. I don't think we got too high or too wrapped up in what might happen, and just kind of tried to stay in the moment and tried to concentrate on what our roles and our jobs were. And we never got any credit during that run. We were criticised a lot in terms of the way we played, and even in the final, I think from memory, we were a good hour into the game. It was 0-0, and it could have went either way. And we weren't playing particularly well, but we never played well all season in that competition. So it wasn't worrying us, and it was such a fine line between success and failure. And up to that point, we'd came out on the right side of it, and ultimately in the final we didn't, which is a massive disappointment. But we were probably due one, to be honest, in terms of in a one-off game against a really, really good team. You know, they beat Bayern Munich in the semi-final. They weren't bad at all, some of the players that played in that team. So it was a disappointment, but it was an unbelievable journey. But it crept up to us. That was my feeling.
Zenit were a decent crowd. I'm not going to dwell on the final or anything like that. Like you said, it didn't go for us, and we move on. I'm interested though to know what the feelings were with the lack of help from, let's say, our governing bodies, and what it looked like actually actively going out their way to not give any help other than, you know, just being incompetent. Did that filter into the team?
It was disappointing, I think, and we tried to use it as motivation. It became obvious quite quickly that we weren't going to get a great deal of help, and, you know, we weren't going to get dispensation to actually get time to recover and prepare and be in the best condition, both for the European games and the domestic games. So it became a bit of a race at the end, and a bit of treadmill, and that was difficult. That's not the reason it never happened. You know, we ultimately weren't good enough in the games. What had gone on and about it, we couldn't affect, and we just tried to use it as motivation to try and be as successful as we could. And even after losing the cup final, the UEFA Cup Final, and no win in the league, and then having to play in a cup final like a couple of days later, you know, that was really, really difficult. And then we go 2-0 up, and then Queen of the South come back and it's 2-2, and you think, here we go. So that team, to get a win out of that game, you know, that says a lot, because the boys were basically running on fumes at that stage, and it was a crazy season for a lot of reasons. But ultimately, to end it as winners, you know, regardless who you're playing against, regardless of the competition, but to pick a trophy up at the end, or another trophy up at the end, was, you know, made it all worthwhile. Although it wasn't what ideally we wanted, it was at least something.
Yeah, I think that year will always be remembered fondly by the support, though, even as you say. But you know, didn't win everything we wanted. But what a ride that journey was. Fire's raging.